it apart! Slay them all!
Shining spears are the knightly warriors of the Eldar. Atop their sleek metallic steeds they ride to war, hurtling forwards at incredible speeds to run down the foe in a glorious lightning-fast charge. Each rider is a living legend, whose deeds are spoken of throughout the craft worlds. They are a rare sight, but even when the aid of a single unit of spears is lended, it is often enough to turn the tides of battle. Akin to warrior heroes of myth, they come to battle when all hope is lost, piercing the darkness with the lance of hope and felling the great beast before them. These shining spears were created by the great Drastanta, a phoenix lord famous for his heroic and reckless last stands, always fighting on against impossible odds. A charge from these aspect warriors will leave the enemy pulverized and broken, shattering the morale of fierce warriors and slaying the largest foes a force can offer. The jet bikes are glorious and the best of their kind, allowing the spears to reach speeds only rivaled by that of the swooping hawks, and an acrobatic grace that would impress the greatest howling banshee Exarch.
Nothing escapes me from this vantage. They will die before I land.
These swooping hawks are vengeance-given wings. They soar across the skies, delivering lightning-fast doom upon wings of glory. Appearing as a blur, the hawks descend from the clouds and pelt the enemy with las blasters, only to leap into the air and disappear. Founded by perhaps the fastest living thing in the galaxy, Baharroth, the swooping hawks are a beacon of shining hope to the Eldar people and a symbol of vengeance and despair to their enemies. The wings upon their backs are made of vibrating feather plates and act as incredibly sophisticated jump packs. Combining anti-gravitic emitters, vibrating feathers, and jet propulsion, they are easily the fastest jump infantry in the galaxy. These wings vibrate at incredible speeds and turn the hawks into vibrant blurs of wondrous colors. They swoop and soar, able to fly for long distances or reach velocities one would think impossible for a mortal frame to sustain. They are the masters of hit and run, never staying in one place, always on the move. They embody the vengeful hunter birds of Eldari mythology.
You are bettered by death, you waste!
Dire Avengers are the greatest tacticians the Eldar have to offer. These aspect warriors dedicate their lives to the art of war, meticulously learning every scenario that could ever happen upon the battlefield. The blue-clad soldiers are true artists, reading the ebb and flow of battle with unbelievable skill and dancing within it with perfect tactical acumen. Bearing Avenger pattern shuriken catapults, they are capable of laying down incredible amounts of armor-piercing firepower, while also employing great speed and mobility. They are prepared for any foe on any terrain in any situation, and these Eldar are near impossible to outsmart. The Dire Avengers can sense an ambush from a mile away. They can spot an enemy's weakness the moment they see them, and they can exploit their opposition as much as possible the second a battle begins. They train constantly, perhaps more than any other aspect, and the discipline instilled within these beings is like no other. They embody the aspect of Kane's nobility and mercilessness, being both patient and controlled, but able to methodically destroy anything that stands before them.
Taste death.
Dark Reapers are the galaxy's aspect of death itself. They commit themselves to the utter obliteration of an enemy in mind, body, and soul, leaving nothing left once their work is done. These Eldar are grim and efficient beings who wield long-range weapons of pinpoint destruction. Created by the menacing and powerful Magan Ra, the Dark Reaper aspect shrine represents Kane's aspect of the Destroyer, and they have dedicated themselves to the eradication of life. Dark Reapers have Reaper launchers, a weapon that fires dozens of small armor-piercing missiles that can fell mighty foes at a sublime range. Stabilizers within their armor and range-finding sensors within their helms gives them a degree of accuracy that very few in the galaxy can hope to achieve. Perhaps the Tau with their battlesuits could find within them such firepower, but what the Scions of the Greater Good cannot achieve is the mind connection a Reaper has with their weapon. The Aspect Warriors are literally linked to their deadly tools and can see out of them, giving them an exact point of view through their mind and eyes.
I fear many shall die today. No song shall stir your eternal slumber.
Fire dragons are paragons of destruction. They are the wielders of Kane's wrath, poured out upon the forces of evil in the form of molten hot fury. Like their Phoenix Lord Fugan, fire dragons are tough, resolute, and hold within their hearts a blazing hot yet controlled fire. When unleashed, these aspect warriors will reduce the toughest armor and the greatest foes to molten slag and charred flesh. They are the monster hunters and titan slayers of the Eldar, dedicated to the total obliteration of their enemies. Wielding fusion guns and bearing heavy armor, they get in close to bring a swift death to the Eldari's opponents. Oftentimes, they will descend from the skies within Falcon grav tanks. The vehicle gracefully and swiftly floats to the ground to deliver its harsh and terrible payload, ensuring pinpoint and lightning-fast obliteration. Some wield Dragon's Breath flamers, bringing agonizing death as the enemy's flesh melts and bubbles under Kane's wrath.
Hear our song and tremble.
Howling Banshees are masterful experts at the art of terror and death. Theirs is an aspect shrine of incredible prowess and speed, able to cross a battlefield in a moment, then eviscerate whatever poor souls stand in their way. The Banshee's mask amplify their battle shrieks, causing an enemy to reel in pain as their heads split open. This scream can literally melt minds, and those few who can withstand it are left in a motionless state of terror as their central nervous system is shackled by the Banshee's wail. In combat, they are precise and impossibly swift, descending on a terrified foe and seeing to their demise before the fear-stricken beings have even realized what is happening. Their Phoenix Lord is Jane Zar, one of the galaxy's most deadly warriors. In Eldar mythology, the Banshees are harbinger of woe and death, and these daughters of Cain perfectly mirror this, making the myth into reality. Their athleticism is unmatched by any other aspect shrine, and they make a perfect and precise hammer to a tough anvil in an Eldar army.
Escape is unlikely, primitive.
Warp spiders are lethal and fearless Eldar who risk eternal damnation by pursuing their path. Using baffling warp jump generators, these spiders literally jump through the warp as a means of transportation. On the battlefield, this allows them to cross large distances in a moment, immune to anything in reality, as they are truly not on the same plane of existence. This makes them incredibly hard to pin down and track, as they can disappear at any moment and reappear right behind you in a fraction of a second. Once their enemy is caught in their web, the Eldar will release their monofilament wires through the weapons known as Death Spinners. This spray of wire eviscerates everything, reducing anything not protected by force fields to a bloody clump of meat. Every time they employ these methods though, there is a sliver of a chance that something goes horribly wrong. Every warp spider has accepted that during any jump they may be claimed by the warp and lost forever. Being in such a situation means giving one's soul freely to Slaanesh, to be tormented and consumed.
The hunt has begun. When they feel it, it shall already be too late.
Striking scorpions are the silent hunters of the Eldar, whose sting may fell the greatest of foes. They are masters of stealth and ambush, waiting patiently for the opportune moment to strike, then eviscerating the unaware enemy in sprays of gore and viscera. They wear heavy aspect armor, yet their physical strength allows them to gracefully use this weight as they silently move through a battlefield. Upon their helmets is the Mana Blaster, which fires small lasers to literally sting the foe, causing incredible and surprising damage from such a small source. Their chainswords are diamond hard, and each scorpion is a paragon of close quarters combat, able to take on foes twice their size and win. Even the great Adeptus Astartes will find they are hard-pressed in one-on-one combat against these aspect warriors, and lesser foes such as guardsmen will be as cattle for the slaughter. Some Exars bear the great Scorpion's Claw, which allows them to crush heavy armor like paper. The shrine is led by Karandras, an aloof lord who has slain monsters to rival that of Fugin.
There will be no escape. They will die quickly. Perhaps too quickly.
The Crimson Hunters are amongst the deadliest pilots in Warhammer. Within their Nightshade interceptors, the Hunters are keen and impossibly fast, pulling off maneuvers a human pilot could not even dream of. Truly, their only rivals in the skies are that of the Drukhari and perhaps the Necrons. Any other aircraft will be as if they were piloted by children, and their hulls will be pierced by the might of bright lances and pulse lasers as the Hunters whiz past before the enemy even registers what hit them. Even against their equals, the pilots are a grand match, as they train every single day against their kin. As these dogfights are always against a species with the fastest reaction times in the galaxy, all other foes literally move in slow motion in comparison. With the fury of a hawk and the grace of a swan, no mortal can ever hope to contend with such masters of the sky. Their shrines may be seen on the outskirts of a craft world as a strange and alien-looking maze of transparent tunnels. Within these tunnels, the greatest pilots are formed.
Curse your gods and die.
Shadow Spectres are perhaps the Eldar's greatest aspect warriors, whose ability to control a battlefield is unparalleled. Only recently re-emerging into the galaxy, they have made their mark as the Craftworld's most mobile anti-armor unit. On silent jetpacks, they glide as wraiths, their images flickering through hollow fields as they swiftly land in position without a sound. In an eye blink, they bring the destructive prism rifles to bear and unleash Cain's wrath and pinpoint sniper shots across the battlefield. With the fury of the fire dragons and the speed of the swooping hawks, they are a terror to the enemy. Much of their war gear is mentally linked to their cerebellum, allowing their unconscious reactions and proprioception to move for them, giving them unparalleled mobility. Rarely does a Spectre fall in battle, but when they do, the Spirit Stone of the warrior is placed within a Wraith construct, so they may ever serve through life and death alike. The Ghosts of War may combine their fire through the Ghost-like targeting matrix, which allows them to bear the molten power of a fire prism, then fade back into the mists before the shot even hits the target.